Hey, come on in. This is another episode of From Christal with Love. I, of course, am your host, Christal, and I'm excited to have you joining me tonight. You guys know we talk about love, we talk about gossip, and everything in between right here on From Christal with Love. So before we get started, you all know what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask you to go ahead and hit that red button right there. Subscribe, and then share with your friends, right? What's good is a conversation about love if it's not shared among friends. So go ahead and share, subscribe, and let's get started. Now, I have to admit, we talked a couple of weeks ago about J-Lo and A-Rod. There was this whole PR stunt of the two of them claiming that they were not breaking up. They were trying to work things out. A-Rod actually flew to Puerto Rico while J-Lo was filming. She was actually filming a wedding scene, and they were supposed to be trying to work the relationship out. Well, of course, sources have confirmed that the two have broken up, and J-Lo actually posted a deuces on her social media platform. Well, I mentioned the fact that I thought the two of them looked so great together. I mean, they're very good looking. I mean, at the top of their fields, both Hispanic, but you know, not everything that looks good is good for us. So one thing I like about J-Lo is that she is not afraid to leave a relationship if it no longer serves her. So we wish the both of them the best. I mean, time will tell. They may end up getting back together, but I wanted to go back and address the fact that we mentioned them and they have finalized and confirmed that their relationship is no longer happening. There will be no J-Lo and A-Rod wedding in 2021, so we can kiss that idea goodbye. Now, we do see that Jeannie Mai and Jeezy are off to a great start. Jeannie Mai has changed her intro to the reel to include her new married name of Jeannie Mae Jenkins, which I think is really cute because a lot of times women that are professional don't change their last names when they get married because that name, you know, the name that they have is one that people are familiar with. But Jeannie Mai is like, nope, I'm Jeannie Mae Jenkins. I am young Jeezy's bride. So I love that. Kudos to them. Just to give you guys an update on the love affairs that we've already talked about. Now, of course, it's time to get into our reality love. Now, today's show is all about Lifetime. We love Lifetime around here. But you guys know one of my favorite shows, it actually may be my favorite show, is Married at First Sight. Married at First Sight spawned Couples Cam and so many other little specials with the different couples that have remained married on Married at First Sight. And it's also spawned Unmatchables. Now, Unmatchables is a show that basically has the rejects from Married at First Sight. We know in every city that Lifetime goes to, thousands of singles come out hoping to be matched on the show. Well, of course, 12 singles are picked, 6 couples. And so there are a lot of people that don't get picked. This show, Unmatchable, shows us some of those rejects and why they didn't make the cut. Check out this clip.
Ashley?
No,
Okay. Ashley,
Hi.
how you doing?
I'm good. What's your name?
I'm Dexter.
Dexter.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
You got beautiful teeth.
Thank
you got a great smile. Look
and
at
beautiful
you.
skin.
Thank you. I do what I can.
Are you from here?
Nah, I'm from New York.
Okay.
When was the last time you had a date?
It's been over a year.
Over a year?
Yes.
So when was your last relationship?
My last relationship, I was a teenager.
Oh my goodness. What, you saving yourself for Jesus?
Well, Dex great. Dexter's fun. He's really cool and handsome.
You should come sit on this side. Do some cute couple stuff. Come on.
Okay.
You gonna come up here? Is something wrong with you?
Maybe I should stay over here. You can come over here with me.
I come over there? All right, okay. Hey. So, what is going on?
What do you mean what's going on?
You are not gonna try to act like I can't see that big umbilical cord. Stevie Wonder can see that, bro. So.
I have a roommate. My roommate's my best friend. We do a lot of things together. Okay. Nikisha has spied on me on dates before.
Wait, time out. That's kind of creepy. Y'all don't feel like that's weird?
What you mean? I'm just chilling.
Okay, that's what we're doing right now?
I want to be enough, you know, to where it's like, she was like, hey, I need to get out.
So y'all text back and forth when you're on a date and she's on a date? Mm-hmm. If I was to have that happen to me in real life, I'm leaving.
Because, I mean, we don't date that much, so.
Oh.
We just got to make sure you weren't crazy.
If you were crazy, I would be nearby.
To come to my rescue.
To come to her rescue.
And do what?
Put you in a headlock or something.
All right, from that clip, I can understand why Oh Girl has been single. It'll be interesting to see if Pastor Cal and Dr. Viviana are able to help these singles. I'm not sure how they're actually going to gauge their progress, but getting these unmatchables ready to be dating and actually successfully dating again will definitely be interested. I think most of us see ourselves in some of the couples that are on Married at First Sight. So if you see yourself there, you're absolutely bound and determined to see yourself and some of the people from Unmatchables. I think this show is going to be really cool. So we'll check it out, April 21st. All right, as I mentioned, we are talking about Lifetime series, and my favorite show, of course, is at the focal point of today's show, and that is Married at First Sight. Now, Married at First Sight is a social experiment that basically tests the theory of compatibility versus physical attraction, because on the show, if you guys haven't watched it, you are basically committing yourself to be married to someone that you have not seen before you meet them at the altar. Now, this past season, season 12 here in Atlanta, some of the brides and grooms were actually blindfolded, and then they took the blindfold off and they see their intended when they get to the end of the altar. It's a really cool thing because it really makes us think about the fact that a lot of times we are so excited about getting married because we're really attracted to our mate. This show really focuses on compatibility and having to get to know a person and then deciding, can you make a relationship with that person last? So since 2014, the show has matched and married 25 couples, and today about half of those remain married. Now, unfortunately, the 12 couples that have remained married, 11 may be the number now, because we hear rumors circulating that Shawnice and Jeffy from season 6 are no longer together. The two of them actually both posted on their social media platforms that they were now single. Jeffy was talking about how difficult it was to be a single dad. Shawnice posted that she was numb and that she was ready to move on. So the two of them, it seems like simultaneously kind of went to social media to announce the fact that they are separated. Now, the thing about Shawnice and Jeffy, we've got a chance to see them on Couples Cam quite a bit with their beautiful little daughter, and they've managed to work through what has been a turbulent marriage at times. While Shawnice was pregnant, the two actually separated and, talked about it publicly. And then Jeffy came back with another ring, proposed with past, present, and future stones, and suggested that he wanted his family back. Actually, it was rumored that Jeffy was, had an extramarital affair during that time. Shawnice was able to forgive him, and the two of them were able to work it out. Now, if you guys saw season 6 of Married at First Sight with Shawnice and Jeffy, their relationship was a little bit rocky in the beginning. Shawnice is one of those people that just gives herself and really, really wanted love. She's very emotional. Jeffy is a little bit more closed off. He's from a little bit of a different culture. And so it was difficult for him to open up to Shawnice and to really accept this idea of being married to a stranger. That was really difficult for him. And then, like I said, we saw them struggle after the fact. But as we know, marriage is no easy road. There's always going to be ups and downs. There's going to be hills and valleys. And so even though the two of them have gone to social media, as is the culture right now, and announced that they're separated, I'm holding out hope that they may not be headed for divorce. Now, we know that we can always check out Lifetime's Couples Cam because the two of them are a favorite on that show. And so hopefully we'll continue to see them. If not, then Lifetime may have to change those numbers around, and it may be 11 couples standing as opposed to 12. Guys, check out Couples Cam and make sure that Shawnice and Jeffy are still on board. Now, we have to get into this season of Married at First Sight. This has been my most challenging season. As we know, there's one couple that we're going to get to in a little bit that has continued to have the blogs buzzing, Twitter's on fire, Facebook is going crazy because of this situation with a couple that was very mismatched. But the entire season, there's just been issues with the couples, and most of them, in my opinion, seem very, very, very mismatched. So we're going to start with the first couple of the season. Like I said, this season 12 is happening in Atlanta, and I'm not really in love with any of the couples, this year. The first couple we have is Clara and Ryan. Now, this is one of the troubled couples. Clara and Ryan are the couple that claim time, everything is perfect. When the camera's on, when they're in front of Dr. Pepper, everything is perfect. When they're in front of Pastor Cal, everything is perfect. When they talk to Dr. Viviana, everything is perfect. However, when Clara goes to talk to her friends, she reveals and constantly shows an issue with the fact that they have not been intimate yet. Ryan has no problem with that and says that he doesn't want to focus on intimacy. Now, my personal opinion on that is because Ryan has said that over the years, he has not been intimate with girlfriends that he's been in long-term relationships with. Clara has said the opposite. She has been very forward. Sex to her is a lot more casual than that. She's been in sexual relationships with people she has not been in relationships with. She did say that she wants to change that and, you know, be with someone that takes sex a lot more seriously. However, I'm a little worried at the fact that Ryan is in relationships for long term with people and never, you know, being intimate. I'm not saying that he may not ever get to that point, but that definitely suggests that intimacy is not as important to him as it would be to a lot of people. So I don't know, you know, there's definitely, you know, thoughts and there's definitely fodder happening. People are talking that there could be some other reasons. That's definitely a possibility. There was one of the Bachelors just came out and acknowledged that the entire time he was on The Bachelor was gay, right? And that could definitely be a reason that he's not interested in having sex with Clara. One of the things that I thought was interesting is the fact that he is allowing her to perform certain sexual acts to him, but she's not getting anything in return. That is a huge red flag to me. And I really don't see this couple making it past decision day. If they do, I think they may stay together just because both of them like the idea of saying that they have this great marriage. But the reality is Clara's not going to be satisfied. And I don't think that Ryan really considers sex that big of a deal. So I don't see their relationship working. If they make it past decision day, I don't expect them to make it 6 months past that. Moving on to Haley and Jacob. Now, this is one of the, oh my God, this couple just irritates me. This is another one that I think the experts got all the way wrong this season. Haley is 27, Jacob is 38. Actually, Haley is 28 and Jacob is 38. And Jacob is obviously socially awkward, very awkward. He's like a flashback to the 80s. His house is designed very weird with a lot of 80s paraphernalia. He dresses a little differently, but he's a good looking guy with a really good heart. Haley is really stuck in her ways, very conservative. She hasn't been in a relationship in 7 years. It seems like everything in her world kind of revolves around her. She's had a really difficult time meshing into a relationship, especially into a marriage. So in this clip, we see Jake talking about the fact that he gave Haley a wedding gift. You know, the couples, before they meet each other, they each give each other a gift. And he gave her an $800 infinity bracelet. Haley gave him a baseball cap. And we see him showing a little bit of frustration over how that gift was handled. Let's check out the clip.
Oh, that's pretty.
Oh, wow, infinity. Thank you for the necklace, by the way. I liked it.
No, it's a bracelet.
Is it a bracelet?
It's a bracelet.
I thought it was a necklace. Oh my gosh. Sorry.
We'll have to talk about the bracelet and make sure you like it.
I do like it. My mom has it right now. She put it in her car.
Okay.
He got upset that I didn't wear the bracelet that he got me for the wedding. And apparently that was a huge problem for him.
It's a bit awkward.
I didn't even cross my mind, honestly.
And that is why it bugged me.
So I'm sorry, I didn't realize that was bothering you so much.
Okay, a lot of people said that they didn't understand why Jake was upset. I totally understand why. First of all, I think the fact that he bought her an infinity bracelet showed that he was really serious about getting married and being in it forever. An $800 bracelet from Zales. Everybody has looked it up and found out exactly where the bracelet was from. You know, that's a great gesture. The fact that she gave the bracelet to her mother, who lives in Alabama, and her mother took it and did not send it back, shows that Haley didn't really care about the bracelet, just like Haley doesn't really care about the relationship or the marriage to Jake. And we see that playing out. It's really heartbreaking. And I think a lot of times we have sympathy for women when we see them going through the rejection, but I actually feel empathy for Jake because it's obvious that he's really into Haley, or he's really into the idea of being married, and he's dealing with rejection. I don't see this situation very much different than Chris and Paige that we're getting ready to talk about. But I definitely don't see a huge difference because we see one person that is stuck in their ways and doesn't want to change, is constantly demeaning the other person. Haley constantly makes little comments about how he dresses and the fact that she thinks a lot of things that he does is weird. And he's tried to change to appease her and continues to get rejected. So I think this is another example of one that the experts really got off, or it's an example of someone who thought they were ready for love and really was not. But I definitely know that Haley and Jake are not going to make it past decision day. So I don't think anyone's rooting for them anyway, but I'll be glad to see the bleeding stop for Jake. Paige and Chris, I mean, we've talked about them all season long. Everybody has talked about them all season long. I don't even know how to set up this clip because it's so irritating to me that they're even at decision day. Like, I think Paige should have come and, we could talk to her and encourage her. But the fact that Paige and Chris are together at decision day and this is the conversation, I'm kind of at a loss for words. Check out the clip.
That I ever wanted in a wife.
I do care about Chris. I do. Because I do see a lot of admirable qualities in Chris. I've never been with a man that is so open and honest about how he feels. Ever. Would you like to stay married?
If I'm not going to give up, even though I know I'm wrong was a person, that would be Paige. Oh my God, it is so clear that this man has no respect for you. He is not attracted to you. He's playing games with you, and you still are here trying to have a conversation and find good things to say about Chris. I'm not beating up on Paige because I think that, I understand the fact that she's a romantic. That's not hopeful romance. That may be hopelessly romantic. But, it's just a little bit, it's too much, I think that there's nothing wrong with standing up for yourself and finding good things to say about herself in the process is one thing. But actually going back and forth with Chris, I don't even understand, why she's doing it. At this point, I feel like we need to get some therapy for Paige immediately. Moving on to Brianna and Vincent. I think they're the favorite this season because they just seem to hit it off from the jump. We see the two of them dealing with some issues. Vincent comes from a very different culture. Paige, Brianna is definitely used to being on her own. She's a little bit spoiled. She's also a little bit controlling, I think, about certain things. But the beautiful thing is we see the two of them working through their issues. Vincent has acknowledged that he gets really upset. He's lost it whenever he's not in a position of control and doesn't look like the man. And Paige has tried to be understanding to that. And we see him doing the same thing with her. So I love the fact that this couple represents compromise, and they also obviously are attracted to each other, both physically and mentally and emotionally. So we see physical chemistry and compatibility working at its best in this couple. Last but not least, we have Virginia and Eric. Now, this couple, I don't think that I'm rooting for. At first they were really cool. They obviously have physical chemistry, but the compatibility is very much off. Virginia is 26. Eric is 34, and that's not a huge age gap, but as far as maturity, they're at two very different places in their life. Eric is a pilot. His father was a pilot. His family has a tradition of, these very professional elite jobs. And then Virginia is kind of this party girl that likes to hang out and get drunk and, party with her friends. Nothing wrong with that, but that's not really the type of marriage that Eric is looking for. One of the things that rings out to me is that Virginia mentions that when Eric's out of town, because we know pilots have to travel a lot, she doesn't see anything wrong with getting drunk at a friend's house, a male friend's house, and spending the night. Eric and most men have an issue with that. He doesn't want to think about his wife spending the night at a friend's house, a male friend who's definitely into women. It's just not comfortable for him. I don't think that would be comfortable for any man. The idea that Virginia thinks that she should be able to have this type of behavior and it mesh well in a marriage is a bit troubling. I just don't think that she was ready for marriage. I definitely know that she's not ready for marriage with a man like Eric. it's going to be interesting to see how this works out because they obviously like each other a lot. But the fact that Virginia is not willing to compromise, and she's continued all season long to say that she's not going to change. She feels like they should form their own rules for marriage, and this is the lifestyle that she enjoys. I think it's going to be a long-standing problem. So I don't think they should stay together because, again, if they do after decision day, I don't see them actually meshing in real life after the cameras have stopped rolling. All right, so there's 3 great shows here on Lifetime: Married at First Sight, Couples Cam, and this new show, Unmatchables. You guys are going to check this out Wednesday, April 21st. Let me know what you think about it. It'll be interesting to see if Pastor Cal and Dr. Viviana can actually get these singles on the road to successful dating, or they're destined to be unmatchable. I'm interested in seeing that. Also got to check out Married at First Sight, Couples Cam, and hopefully Shanice and Jeff D are going to be on there. All right, that brings us to relationship rhetoric. Today's relationship rhetoric is by relationship expert Annie White. Now, we talked about on Married at First Sight, a lot of times we see men not being attracted to the woman and that not working out. Annie wants to talk about women who are not attracted to their mate. Let's check out what she has to say about that.
The main thing that separates your partner from every other person on this planet is you're intimate with your partner. So if you're not attracted to them, you're not going to want them to touch you, yet alone kiss you, yet alone you be intimate with them. And what that really means is you're going to hurt yourself and you're going to hurt them by forcing each other into a sexless, loveless relationship where your physical and intimate needs are not being met. And I get how tricky this situation is because this person meets your emotional needs. This person is so amazing. They're reliable. They're dependable. They're everything you would want in a person, except you're not attracted to them. And you want it to not be a big thing, but I promise you it's the main thing that separates them from every other person on the planet. So what I need you to do is I need you to stop trying to convince yourself otherwise, because I know what y'all do. This is what y'all do. Y'all say, like, he's not an ugly guy. Like, he's a decent looking guy. Like, he has nice features, or he dresses well, or look at his body. Like, you look at all these other things, but we're not asking those questions.
As a person that's tried that before, because we all hear for women, just get a good man, get you a good guy, don't worry about what he looks like. That does not work. I think if attraction is important to you, and it's okay if it is, it's important to me, you definitely need to be attracted to your partner. I think trying to go with someone who you think is good for you just for the idea of doing the right thing always backfires. So we're going to give Annie a yes with that. I agree wholeheartedly with her advice. All right, you guys know what time it is now. We are here for the question of the day. And this question is very unique, as they all are. You know, if you have questions, you can send them right here to FromChristalXO@gmail.com. I'm happy to answer all your questions. Or if you have comments on one of the shows, if you want to give us a comment about Married at First Sight, Couples Cam, or Unmatchables, definitely send your comments in and we'd love to share them with other viewers on the show. So let's get into today's question. Dear Christal, the guy I'm dating enjoys hanging out with me at home, but he never wants to do anything with me and with my friends and family. We have no interest in common. Do you think a relationship can work if we don't like doing the same things? Interestingly enough, I think that's a question that you have to answer for yourself. I think every person needs to know what's important to them in a relationship. Now, if the guy that you're seeing doesn't want to do anything with you besides stay in the house, I would say that's a red flag. But if you have certain interests that he's not into, or he's just not a big, friends and family, double date, that type of guy, if that's not that important to you, then I don't think it's a big deal. I do think everyone has to decide what's important to them. A few years ago, well, actually quite a few years ago, one of my clients, Chili from TLC, had a show on VH1 titled What Chili Wants. Now, people gave her a lot of slack because she had a rule. She had a list, right? She had a list that she wanted that basically had all the things that were important to her when dating. I think a list is a good idea. Not a list is so long that it keeps you single, but a list where you can actually think without external input about what's important to you and deal breakers that you have that may be, solely yours. Some people want a partner that they can enjoy certain things with. Other people have friends that they enjoy doing things with, and they're okay if their partner is just, dealing with other aspects of their life. Look at Virginia and Eric on Married at First Sight. Not a great example, but if Eric was okay with Virginia hanging out with her friends a lot, that would be perfectly fine. The difference is he's not. So if you are okay with the fact that your boyfriend doesn't want to hang out, and you're just letting friends and family tell you that's wrong, then I don't think there's a problem. But if that's a deal breaker for you, then you need to make sure that you find a partner that, fills in those holes for you. So it's really about what is important to you and what you like. All right. We wish you much success with that. Let us know how it's going. All right. So for our clip of the day, I thought this clip by Mary J. Blige on The Breakfast Club was a great clip for today. The relationships that we talked about on Married at First Sight, we see a lot of positive and there's also a lot of negative. Whenever there's love and there's always loss. So there's always going to be positives and there's always going to be negatives. Mary J. Blige has a very candid conversation with Angela Yee on The Breakfast Club about her divorce from her ex-husband, Kendu. That's one thing you have to love about Mary J. Blige is she's always authentic. And I think that's why she has had the career that she's had. And that's also why her music hits and resonates so much with people. And she's 100% honest to acknowledge that she may have done something she wasn't comfortable with because she was that much in love with her husband at the time. And I hope you caught that last part. Because she was not in a good place with herself, she gave him more than she was giving herself. I think most people have done that, men and women at some time in their life. And it's all about just getting to a healthier place, picking yourself back up and moving on. That clip was from a few years ago. So we know that Mary J. Blige has managed to move on. She's looking absolutely amazing now. Her music and her career is still thriving. One monkey did not stop the show. And of course, we wish her much success and much love in the future. I'm sure it's coming her way if it's not already there. That leads us to our love soundtrack of the week. And again, we're talking about the fact that love is not perfect, right? Love is not perfect. So I thought that this song, this throwback song by Vanessa Williams and Brian McKnight, some of you may not even know who that is, but if you don't, you can look them up. It's called Love Is by Vanessa Williams and Brian McKnight. Check it out. And that it brings us to our love quote of the day. Love quote of the day, again, is all in the same vein. It states, love is a two-way street, constantly under construction. And that quote is by Carol Bryant. And I hope all of you out there realize all of us want to be in love. We want to enjoy that. But those of you that are in relationships know love is not perfect and it's not constant. You may have a 10-year relationship and 7 of those years may be euphoric and 3 of them may be horrible. The key to it is to seeing if there's enough there to fight for. And if it is, fighting with all your heart and knowing that eventually you'll get back to a good place. All right, so that's it for this episode. We thank Lifetime for having such great content. We definitely know there's decision day coming up for Married at First Sight. You guys know we're going to have the whole tea and whole spill on that. We got to talk about that. Send those comments to FromChristalXO at Gmail. Let's talk about this final decision day. We also got to check out Unmatchables and see if the Unmatchables are going to become matchable. And of course, Couples Cam. We love checking in with all the beautiful couples from Married at First Sight and seeing how they're getting along in their life with the babies and the jobs and the different things they're going through, just like the rest of us. I want you to check out what's happening next week. So if you're subscribed, you'll be sure to get an alert so you can make sure to hang out with us same time, same place next week. This has been your host, Christal from Crystal with Love, wishing you all a week full of love and success. See you next time.